This is Pat Soundbites Unplugged, the podcast where all the artists go to tell it as it is. Careers, music, tours, and more. And here's your host, the man that refuses to eat squid, Pat Calamari.
Hey, Pat Calamari here, Pat Soundbites Unplugged, episode number 14, as the adventure of podcast world continues. And always a great pleasure in speaking with a rock legend, and that happened just a little while ago. Got to speak with rock legend Mr. Denny Laine. Denny of the Moody Blues, Wings, two-time Grammy winner, Rock and Roll Hall of Famer, just a terrific guy. I got to interview numerous times. I've gotten to meet Denny. I've gotten to introduce Denny and his band on stage. And Denny's wrapping up 2019 with a few shows, 4 exactly, in the Northeast, New Jersey, one in Long Island, one in New York City, and he wraps up on Sunday in Philadelphia at the City Winery. Just a great guy. We've spoken in the past about the Moody Blues, how he got started, his influences, why he left the Moody's, formed his own couple bands in between. He was part of Ginger Baker's Air Force. Talked about Ginger Baker in the past. And how he got selected into Wings. You know, the Moody's were rivals of the Beatles, but they were really all good friends, and they all shared a lot of stories and watched each other perform. So he had a connection with Paul, and when Paul left the Beatles, he was looking to do something. And he's got Denny on board and was part of Wings, which is a story in itself, with his wife Linda McCartney at the time. And you know the story, Paul getting arrested with the marijuana in Japan, and that pretty much somewhat put an end to Wings, as well as the untimely death and murder of John Lennon. At the time, Paul really didn't want to do anything anymore. And Denny moved on. So Denny has a band called the Moody Wing Band, and he plays music from 2 of the great albums, Band on the Run and the Magnificent Moody's. He's a super guy to hang out with and chat with. And as you'll hear, Denny was getting ready to check out of a hotel this morning, and then he was going to get in the car and drive. At one point, somebody was calling him, so there's a little bit of an interruption. But it's all good. So sit back, enjoy, and share, tell your friends. And today is Wednesday, December 4th. Live, love, and laugh a lot, because life is way too short. Sit back, enjoy. Here is Mr. Denny Laine. WBXO Classic Rock Redefined in conjunction with Pat Soundbites Unplugged podcast. Always an honor to have the opportunity to speak with this rock legend, a Rock and Roll Hall of Famer, a 2-time Grammy winner, co-founding member of 2 great rock bands, the Moody Blues and Wings. Welcome, singer, songwriter, musician, wonderful and talented, and good friend of our show, Mr. Denny Laine. Hey, Denny, how are you doing today?
I'm very well. How are you, Pat?
I am well. Always a pleasure. Thanks for your time. Denny and his awesome band, the Moody Wing Band, are wrapping up 2019 with a few shows up this way in the Northeast. Tomorrow at the Lavoie Theater in Millville, New Jersey. Friday night at my father's place down in Long Island. Saturday at the Iridium in Times Square. And Sunday at the City Winery in Philly. Always guaranteed a great night of fun, great live music. And tickets are on sale now. Get them before they sell out. And Denny's performing 2 albums in their entirety, Band on the Run and the Magnificent Moody's, along with other songs and stories of his amazing career. Let me just start off by saying, I think you started a trend, Denny, because I see more and more shows I go to. Artists today, for whatever reason, are performing entire albums, and plus the hits. What was your original thoughts on the concept behind doing that?
Well, it was never. I've done it before with, I've been invited to do things with other tours, whereby they will do. I was a guest on a Sgt. Pepper album once, show with Christopher Cross and Todd Rundgren, and it kind of went from there that somebody wanted me to do 2 nights in one particular place, and I was doing one show, and then the next night they said, can you do anything different? So I said, well, I could do an album, just to be different. So anyway, it stuck, and so I started doing the Band on the Run album from that time on. And now I've decided to do the Moody Blues album, because that was obviously re-released, and that came out, and then the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction sealed that one, so I started doing that. I'm actually not doing all of the album of the Moody Blues one. I'm doing a selection of songs from the box set.
Okay.
Which is like a lot more songs, obviously, on the box set. But I'm just doing a selection of those songs. But it all represents my time with the Moody Blues.
No, it's a great show. I've seen you a bunch of times. Just recently, I want to say in the spring, you did a terrific show up here at Daryl's house. And speaking about these great albums, Denny, does performing them, revisiting these old great songs and telling some of the stories, does that bring back old and happy memories for you?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, we don't do the songs exactly like the albums. I mean the album track.
I lose you?
Are you recording me?
Are you there?
Okay. Yeah, hello.
Okay, go ahead, Denny.
Sorry, I had a call going on there, but so we do up-to-date versions of these songs, which are kind of more free. They have more jamming. They have a lot more solos.
Right.
We don't do the tribute band copy thing.
Right.
It's much more a sort of more up-to-date version. And, I enjoy doing them for that reason. A song is a song, after all. When I do my solo shows, I do them completely different, of course. I do them as they were written, sort of on a guitar or something. And so, I'm revisiting them, but at the same time, I'm certainly, enjoying them, because a song is a song, and, a good song will always be okay to do. So you're not stuck in a time warp here. So.
Gotcha.
I mean, you do also, I mean, obviously the people like those songs, and they want to sing along to whatever you've been involved with. But I do also do a lot of my own stuff as well. I throw in a few songs that are less well known, but they get a lot of appreciation. Even with songs that I haven't even recorded, I've done that a couple of times, and people like it, So that's good enough for me.
No, I got to see it firsthand a couple of times, and people singing back, and there's something about it. And I see a more younger crowd coming. More folks are bringing their children in. It's a new wave of audience at some of these shows, which got to really excite you.
Yes, I did a TV show yesterday, and they said exactly the same thing. What's your audience? I says, well, the kids. They're the ones who grew up with this music because of the parents, and they have a lot of respect for us, which is great. They're kind of doing what we did. They're putting bands together and playing live and going out there and getting back to the basics again. So I really am pleased about the fact that it's all come full circle.
Absolutely. Hey, obviously you love performing, whether it's your solo acoustic or with the band. Is performing the key to continue to strive forward, Denny? That just keeps you motivated and you get out there to see the crowd and have them sing back to you?
Yeah, yes. I mean, that's the whole point, is you can't really enjoy, your music unless you play it live. I mean, you can enjoy it a certain amount of, it's like being an actor, really. If you're just a movie actor, you don't get to see your audience.
Right.
But I mean, if you're a stage actor, you do. And it's similar to being a stage actor, where you get that feedback, and your timing and everything else has to be, according to what the audience is, requiring. I mean, an audience does add a lot of energy to a show.
And it's instant feedback, right? I mean, it's a direct connection. You see it right there. Like, that's a good point. You bring up about an actor in a movie. They do the script, but they have no idea of how it's really going to take. You're doing it right then and there, so big difference.
Yeah, and I think that's what people like. I think they like, live shows. I think that's what they like. Yeah, and there's, although we don't actually, but a lot of bands do mix in the technology thing a lot with live work. They have all sorts of tapes and God knows what else that they add to their show. But we don't do that necessarily. We just do the live. We just play live. That's it. There's no recorded stuff there. But as I say, I think audiences just like you to be on the spot. Spontaneous and just natural.
Sometimes simple is easier. I've been to enough shows where, the production, the screens, the pictures, the lights, the pyros kind of takes away from the simplicity of just hearing the artist sing the song. I mean, it's nice. A guy like yourself been doing this for so long. It's great to see the pictures back in the day with the Moody's or the Wings or Ginger Baker. But you don't want to take away from what you're there. The live performance is everything. That's what I take away from.
That's true. But, a lot of that sort of stuff has come as a result of people playing in arenas. Because you can't see anybody unless you see a big screen, or you have, big sound system, or you have big lighting, shows that sort of take you, into the show more. But, in a small place, it's ridiculous to do anything like that, I think. But there you go. It's just,
Hey, we talked previous a bunch of times about your times in the Moody's, and I remember you telling me some of the biggest attraction in you joining that band was the fact that those guys were professional, they were very determined, they were hardworking. Would you agree it really comes at no surprise to the overall success that they've, that band, you and the guys have achieved over the years?
That's right. Well, we first of all, we all came from Birmingham, so we were determined to, be successful, and you had to work hard for it. It's a lot of work involved, 24-hour job, But of course they continued after I left, and they already had a name, and they just worked hard and got new people in, and there's the determination, and that's all there is to it. And a lot of bands, although they're good, a lot of them don't have that kind of determination, or some of them, they retire early, or they go off the road, or they decide it's all too much work for them, or whatever, and then they don't continue. But, the whole point about the Moody Blues was that's it. They just wanted to stay professional musicians and keep going.
Well, there you go. As always, hard work pays, and certainly, as you mentioned, some bands get, maybe a hit or two and, I don't know, get lazy, fall back, or they don't have that follow-up. Was it crazy for you after the success would go now in terms of the record company and label? Was there a lot of pressure put on you and the guys to really come up with another hit and work hard?
Well, funny enough, we did record another song, and it's the management that we were using at the time. We had we fell apart. As far as the management was going, we weren't happy, so we just moved on. And I think because of all the politics that was going on, we didn't release what was recorded as going to be our next single, and that was a shame. Because the fact was that now I had this box set come out, I've actually listened to that song, and I thought, well, that would have been a natural, have to go now. It would have been a natural for a single, and that was a disappointment, really. But as I say, that's the way the cookie crumbles, and that's it. So
it is what it is, right? They say
a lot of things happen. It's all about timing,
Well, you certainly had the timing from the Moody's, and I know you had your other band, Electric String, and you became friends with Jimi Hendrix. And as a guy growing up, I really didn't pay too much attention, and obviously his passing. So all I have is videos. What impressed you most about his guitar playing? What impressed you most about, somebody that actually knew him and sat down and played? What can you share with us about him?
It's like the same as anything else. If somebody's good at what they do, first of all, you feel, you're in the right kind of company. You're always learning off other people. You see. And he actually paid me a compliment as well, because you're always trying new things, and he was, in a way, although he was a great guitar player, it wasn't that made him famous. It was the fact that he was trying something new. He was going for different sounds and different approach to the music.
There you go.
I think the fact that he came to England and used English musicians as well gave him another edge.
Gotcha.
So I think it was that, but also he's a very sort of, he was a mild-mannered type of person, and we accepted him. He was accepted in England a lot more than he was in America, obviously. Well, he was groomed in England to be a star, really. But as I say, there was no sort of BS about him. He was a very kind of ordinary guy, really, who was very, very, amazed himself that he was thrown into that position. I don't think he ever thought it, because he started out as a backup guitar player, for a lot of the big names, and he was great at that. But as I say, they all are those kind of guys. They're all great players.
Right.
Like the Wrecking Crew, people like that. They're all, Glenn Campbell type players. They've done so much work session-wise and live-wise. And it's the same with the Nashville guys. They're all great players. And he was kind of one of those people. So
that's interesting to know. I never realized that he was an actual backup player for somebody, but that's pretty cool.
Yeah, he was, yeah.
We talked about Paul and Wings in the past and all the history behind that. I wrote here from my notes, I don't know if Linda gets much recognition for her contribution in that band. When I think about the great songs on Band on the Run and Speed of Sound, a big part of that band were the vocal harmonies, I think. And Linda, would you say Linda played an important part of that piece with Wings?
Definitely, because her contribution was the sound, the voice, and although she wasn't shall we say, an experience, in that department, it was something that she added to the sound. And even Michael Jackson commented about it. He asked Paul who's doing the harmonies, and Paul said, Denny and Linda. So, there was a certain sound there that we developed. It became, significant, and it was part of the Wings sound, and that's all there is to it. So, as I say, although she wasn't used to doing it, she got into it and did a good job.
No, I said, I think she was an important piece of that puzzle for what it brought. All right, so let's switch gears. Any new music on horizon for 2020?
Yeah, I'm working on a new project. We call them projects until they're finished. And keep them under wraps. But I am working on something new, yes, so who knows? I get busy doing other things sometimes, and things take longer, so you can't predict really times and all the rest of it. But yes, I am working on a new project.
Well, cool. Well, we support you whether you finally complete a project for 2020 or not. Always a pleasure to chat with you, and always a great show when I get to see you, whether coming down to the city or you playing up here. We'd love to get you back up here at Daryl's. Maybe you could throw that on your list for 2020. I think. Go ahead, Denny.
I think we will be doing that. I've heard talk about us going back there, yeah.
Okay, great. Well, again, thanks for your time, my friend. I hope you enjoyed the chat as much as I have.
Absolutely. No problem. Thanks, Pat.
Rock legend Denny Laine continued to support this wonderful musician, and catch him at one of these shows. And where's my list here? Tomorrow at the Lavoie Theater in Millville, New Jersey, in Long Island, at my father's place on Friday. The great the Iridium on Times Square. Great venue. And he's wrapping his end of the year at the City Winery in Philly. Denny, safe travels. All the best to you and Elizabeth during the holidays. And anything I can do for you, you just reach out. We'd love to play your stuff and promote your projects and anything you got going on.
Fantastic. Thanks a lot for that.
Okay, Denny. Denny Laine. Thank you, Denny.
All right.
Bye now.
Bye.